Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to show you guys a flip through of my new recipe book. This book, I got it at Michael's. It's a Recollections book. We are going into the breakfast section, and it has a bunch of pages for recipes, front and back. Then they have for sides, main dishes, desserts, miscellaneous. Then they have a menu planning section. They have some stickers. These are so adorable. And they have a couple of pages there, a few. And they have a folder in the back, front and back, and a little zip up. So you can put any of your recipes in there. So today I wanted to show you guys how to make sopes. I found a couple of books actually. This is the food value pack, and this is the recipe book that I found at my library. It has a lot of good authentic Mexican dishes in here. So today I wanted to share with you guys how to make sopes from this recipe. Now, my family does do them just a little different, but this is the gist of it. So you can alter it. I omit something in the recipe, which I'll show in a minute. But this is how you get it. This is how it's done. And like I said, it's authentic. It's nothing store-bought in the frozen section. This is the good stuff, guys. So I did get a to-do list just to vamp it up a little. I put a yum sticker up at the top next to sopes. I need to work on my lettering. I don't like how that came out, but we'll keep practicing. Okay, so for the ingredients, it calls for 10 ounces of masa, tortilla masa, which is basically the masa that you make tamales with. If you walk into any kind of any market, any Mexican market, they do have those pre-made. So you'll see that in the directions it tells you how to actually prepare it. But like I said, my family, most of the time we won't make it from scratch. We'll just buy it made like that. You melt lard or oil for the reheating, which is technically after the masa is done. That's what you're going to put them in to make them ready for your sopes. You know what? I'm going to have to go back and check and see how much. It's not too much. I'm going to say a tablespoon or so for that. It's half a cup for refried beans. And next is 1.5 cups of chorizo and potatoes, which, like I said, I omit the chorizo. That's where I said. I'm a vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian for about a year now. I've had a few slip-ups, but for the most part, I would only eat chicken and fish before I became vegetarian, and I want to eventually be vegan if I can. I love cheese. It's so hard, but that's the goal in the long run. Up next is half a cup of salsa verde. I believe this book also has a recipe on that, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Let me know if you guys would like to see more recipes like this. 1 cup shredded of lettuce or cabbage, whatever you prefer. This is gonna be for the toppings. On top of your sopes. And then we're gonna have half a cup of finely chopped white onion, which that I omit as well actually. I'm not a big fan of onion. And lastly, a third of a cup of crumbled queso fresco. I honestly can't remember what kind of queso fresco we use, what's the brand, but I do not measure it. It's the more the merrier for me. And we do also, the recipe didn't call for it, but we also do drizzle some sour cream on there right before you top it off with queso fresco. That just is icing on the cake. It's delicious. I put in a top priority sticker there. And okay, so this is where the directions begin. So one calls for work masa until soft and smooth. Divide into 12 equal parts. So these are going to make into 12 equal little balls. And these are going to be for your each sope that you're going to make. They don't have to be identical. They don't have to weigh the same. It's not that serious, but just so that they'll cook evenly. That's what it means by that. And now I did switch colors just because I didn't want to get confused looking back and forth once I look back on this recipe. So if it is a little hard to see, that's why I'm reading this off to you guys. Okay, so number 2, you roll each ball into 1 1/4 inches in diameter and cover with a damp cloth while you prep the filling. So like I said, it doesn't have to be precisely what it calls for there, but they're just if you want to make them exactly identical the same, you can, but it's not very necessary. It's just more that way they'll all get an even cooking time, and it'll look pretty too. I mean, that doesn't hurt, you know. You eat with your eyes first, right? All right, let's move on to number 3, step 3. You're gonna warm an ungreased comal. At the end of this video, I will show you what a comal is. But it's basically what you make the pancakes on. A grill, that's what it's called. That's technically what it is. And you warm that up over medium heat. Let me know if I got that right, guys. Any of my Mexican people out here, if that's what you would compare it to. All right, number 4. You take one ball and press gently in a lined tortilla press or by hand to a disc about 3.5 inches. So a press again, that is I've seen my grandma use it, but it's not necessary as well. If you just grab it by your hand and it just eyeball it. They still come out delicious whether they're the same or not, honestly. I have so many good memories of this with my grandma. Nobody can be grandma's cooking. I need her to give me her recipes. But the problem is she doesn't measure anything. So that's kind of why I go based off of recipe books. And to be 100% honest, I'm not the best cook. I love baking. I can bake all day because baking is with precise measurements. And cooking is kind of an eyeballing thing, at least for my mom and my grandma it is. So not everything comes out like theirs does. All right, moving on to number 5. You place carefully on comal and cook over medium to low heat until the underside is opaque. And speckled with brown. About 2 minutes, you turn the sope over and you leave it there for around another 2 minutes. So that that's about right. That is pretty precise. You want to go ahead and cook it until it's slightly brown, not dark, but just slightly brown. And that's when you know they're done. Do you guys have any recipes that you guys want me to check out or that you guys would recommend? I'm gonna be honest, I'm a pretty picky eater, and I have been ever since I was a little girl. At least that's what my mom says, but now that I'm older, I really am. But if you guys have anything you guys like me to try, or if you guys have any suggestions, I'd really appreciate that. Go ahead and leave them in the comments down below. And as always, I always reply back to everybody. I'd greatly appreciate it. All right, number 6. Remove from comal and immediately pinch dough around the periphery of the sope. Return to comal and cook briefly until the dough is firm. 2 more minutes on each side. So I saw a video on this where a lady grabbed a edge of a clean cloth and she pinched it, because as soon as it gets out of the comal, it's still going to be soft enough to handle. So the comal does have a little lift on the whole perimeter of the sope. So if you go ahead and use that, because it's going to be hot, so if you use a cloth instead of your fingers directly on the sope, that'll help immensely. So once you pinch it all the way around, you go ahead and put it back on the comal for 2 more minutes on both sides, and you'll be good to go. I am so sorry it cut off here. You can't even see what I'm writing. But I'll head and go pull it up. I'll realize and I'll pull the book up in a minute. All right, number 7. You heat the lard or oil, whatever you're using, in the skillet, and you let the sopes heat through for about half a minute on each side. From what I remember, my grandma has always done it a little longer than half a minute, but I think you just eyeball this one, and if that's what it calls for, half a minute, just check on it and see. Once again, it's going to be just a bit lighter brown than what it was previously to just put in the comal, and they'll be ready. You don't want to drench them in oil or lard, whatever you're using. They're just to kind of get that flavor. These aren't the healthiest, but once in a while, they're delicious, guys. Trust me. Lastly, you spread the beans and you top liberally with the rest of the ingredients. And this is something you have to serve immediately so you can get the best result. It has to be nice and warm. So you put the beans, you put your chorizo and potatoes if that's what you wish. You put your lettuce, your onion. Like I said, we put sour cream, so you'd put your sour cream, your queso fresco, and your salsa verde, and it's good to go. My mouth is watering. You guys gotta try this. If you guys do, let me know and tell me how it turns out. It's delicious. Trust me on this one, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this off. I don't know what I'm doing here. I think I'm trying to get everything in focus. Alright, so filling in the sides. This serves 12 sopes. So depending on how much you're gonna eat, I'm gonna say it's for about 3 to 4 people. The main ingredients are beans and potatoes, for me at least. Seasonal variations, I would have to, I didn't put anything down there. So on the bottom, difficulty, I did 3 out of 5. Well, I think if you have the masa prepared or you get the actual sopes from the store made or anything like that, it's super easy peasy. But if you gotta make the whole thing, as the recipe calls, it's a little difficult. Prep time 30 minutes. Cooking time is, again, I eyeballed all this stuff over here because this was in the book. I put in an hour and a half just because you got to do the whole masa part in this recipe. What would I serve this with? It already comes with beans in the sope, but you can add some more beans on the side if you like, and Mexican rice. Can't go wrong with the Mexican rice. Oh, to die for. Add in some stickers to make it cute. You got this, and that's it. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.